Well, hi, everybody. As we often say on TSN Wrestling, it's time to batten down the hatches and lock the door because it is indeed wrestling time once more. This edition is called Pro Wrestling Plus, of course, and it's on this show that we travel across the country and take a look at what's going on in the wacky and wonderful world of wrestling. Okay? Climb aboard, and I'll tell you where we're headed. First of all, we're going to be traveling to the Deep South for a cage match. You're going to find that particularly interesting. We'll also have Southern Championship Wrestling, the NWA, action from Memphis, the Continental Wrestling Alliance, that's out of Birmingham, Alabama, and a whole lot more, including the Mat Classic and Fan Forum. Now, to start it off, however, we're going to go to the Deep South and the Global Wrestling Alliance. It's there that we've got a cage match that we're about to show you. It involves the Assassin, who's in the cage against Randy Rose. Now, there's a special guest referee, and chosen for this one is Ranger Ross. As the match unfolds, however, you're going to see that Randy Rose and Ranger Ross agree to disagree quite a lot. Anyway, have a look.
From Ackworth, Georgia, here's Ranger Ross. Well, Rock, we're inside a 10-foot steel cage.
You know, I don't envy anyone who takes part in a cage match because, believe me, that chain link fence is very hard on the body, especially the head and the skin in places that you might not think would be so tender, but really, you don't realize how tender your skin is until it's raked across that chain link fence.
Had a member of the ring crew just now climbing off the cage, putting on the finishing touches of tying that door shut so nobody can get in, nobody can get out. And I hate to have a biased opinion, but I just have to feel that in a boxed-in situation like this, that the Assassin has the definite advantage.
Well, I'm certain that you have your reasons for feeling that, and we all know your reasons for being partisan, and I certainly say no one could blame you for that.
Randy Rose complaining about the fists. I have a feeling he's going to see quite a few of those in this match.
I think so, too, but I think that's just a distraction on his part because he knows that there are going to be a lot of fists inside of a chain-link fence.
Randy Rose went for a fist of his own and ended up laying it right on that chain-link fence.
Well, that's what I say. He was trying to sucker the Assassin there.
Pretty hard to sucker the Assassin. He's an experienced veteran, has been around for years. He's seen and done about all. You got to give credit to Randy Rose, though. He's still the Deep South Heavyweight Champion. He's defended it on various occasions and still holds that title. I don't know how well he'll be able to defend that title after tonight. It remains to be seen. I know he wasn't real happy with the idea of Ranger Ross being special referee. Ooh, Randy Rose opens up with two right hands, a third one. Ooh.
Well, with regard to Ranger Ross being the referee, I'm sure that Randy Rose feels, oh, look.
All the way across the ring and into the steel cage.
I'm sure Randy Rose feels that he's outnumbered in there by 2-1, but I'm sure that on the other hand, Ranger Ross will attempt in his own way to be fair. However, it would be pretty hard to ignore some of the battles that Ranger Ross has had with Randy Rose himself.
That's true. That would be one factor that may sway in the way of the Assassin, because to my knowledge, the Assassin hasn't had any altercations with Ranger Ross one way or the other. Ranger Ross is definitely capable of upholding authority in the ring.
I think that's why he was picked as the special referee by Deep South.
I believe Randy has opened up the forehead of my father now, using that steel cage.
Well, this is a tough, hard thing for any son to have to watch his father go through, I'm sure of that. However, you have to remember one thing. These men elect to follow this type of livelihood They signed the contracts, and they're well aware of what they're stepping into.
You know, it's a different situation when you're watching a member of your family in there. You know, if it's just yourself, or I know in my case, if it was just myself, I wouldn't worry about it. You know, I would go in there just as my father is going in there.
And tempers are flaring a little now between Ranger Ross and Randy Rose. I expected something like this because they've had some hard-fought battles between themselves.
Randy Rose is always complaining about something anyway, and I think he's going to be falling on deaf ears complaining to Ranger Ross.
And he just caught a right hand from the assassin that draped him right on his back.
Here comes another one. Yeah. Ooh, and into the cage, and Rose is down. And now it looks as if the tide may turn in this battle. Rose is down. The assassin brings him up. Whoa, the patented headbutt. He's knocked a lot of good men out with that headbutt, I guarantee you. You got to give Rose credit. He's still conscious. Ooh.
He just drove that big right hand into Rose's forehead again. Or somewhere in the facial area. I didn't get a good shot of it.
A big boot to the head.
And now put the digits of that left hand and the digits of that right hand out of commission. That way he wouldn't be able to punch so hard, would he?
That's exactly right. I was just fixing to say, take away a little of that punching power and use that steel cage to your advantage. And the assassin knows how to do all of these things very, very well.
Nick, do you see who approaching the ringside, who I see approaching the ringside?
Well, I had a feeling, since he was paid to be an insurance policy, that he'd be somewhere around. However, he was not at ringside up to this point. Now, making a very obvious appearance at ringside, Randy Rose's 390-pound insurance policy, Big Bad Leroy Brown, and the assassin now opening up on Randy Rose, drives him into the cage. He's trapped between the ropes and the cage, and he's over there by Leroy Brown, and it looks like...
Well, wouldn't you know it, Big Bad Leroy Brown interfering there, and the whole thing winds up as a disqualification. Okay, now a trip to the Southern Championship Wrestling there, in that area where, incidentally, they are still having a very big heavyweight tournament. So we're going to take a look-see at one of the bouts in this tournament. The combatants in the ring are Steve Pritchard and Tommy Wildfire Rich, and the referee is Rick Frady. I might note, of course, that Sir Samuel F. Kent is at ringside to assist in the proceedings, and I use the assist word rather loosely. And this time, ta-dam, you will see that the assistant really proves to backfire on his own man. Anyway, take a look and you'll find out what we're talking about.
Both men trying to fill each other out. A lot at stake here. Both men want to be very cautious. Good arm drag takedown by Tommy Rich on Steve Pritchard. Tommy with a nice armbar on Steve Pritchard. Steve able to work his way back to his feet. As Mr. Donnie, the financial advisor of one Tommy Wildfire Rich, looking on intently as Steve Pritchard sends Tommy Wildfire Rich in for the ride, misses with the elbow, and there's nobody home for the drop kick, and Tommy Rich with a nice arm drag takedown goes back in with the arm bar on the left arm of Steve Pritchard. So Tommy Wildfire Rich controlling this match from the onset. And I'm sure Mr. Donnie, the financial advisor, has to like what he sees up in the ring right now. Once again, Steve Pritchard backs his man into the rope, sends him in for the ride. Nice high hip toss, quick arm drag. And this Steve Pritchard is amazingly fast, folks. He's almost fast. He's sudden. Explosive young man here on the scene, making tremendous inroads in the sport and making tremendous inroads here in Southern Championship Wrestling. Tommy Rich works his way back to one knee, and with a handful of hair, back Steve Pritchard into the corner. The referee asking for a break. Now gets in between his men and delivers a headbutt to Steve Pritchard. And Steve Pritchard caught with a knee lift. And Tommy Rich starting to open up his attack on Steve Pritchard. Sends Steve Pritchard in for the ride. Ooh. Caught him right on the button with that big elbow. Crashing down on the forehead of Steve Pritchard, and Tommy Rich, with a very cocky grin on his face, but unable to pin Steve Pritchard at this point in the match. Steve Pritchard sent in for the ride, caught with a clothesline. And Pritchard is obviously hurt here, folks. And Tommy Rich, very calculative in his walk. The referee trying to get you a count from outside the ring, but Steve Pritchard with his leg over the bottom ring rope. The referee makes his way back into the ring, and Tommy Wildfire Rich backs his man into the ring rope, misses with the elbow. And Tommy now over his man, Steve Pritchard, blocked, trying to fire away, trying to flail away, but Steve Pritchard is just too badly hurt, it appears. Raking the eyes is Tommy Rich. Raking the eyes once again. Steve Pritchard backed into the ring rope. Tommy Rich drops down over his man. Ooh. Drives the elbow. And Tommy Rich has hit the referee. Tommy Rich drew back to throw a punch and hit the referee. And now it's Tommy Rich with a sleeper on Steve Pritchard. Tommy Rich with a sleeper now on Steve Pritchard. And this could be all she wrote. And it's Sammy Kent distracting the referee. And it's Mr. Donnie now grabbing Sammy Kent. And it's...
Well, a strange turn of events there as Kent interferes and he causes the win to go to Steve Pritchard. It serves him right, don't you think? Well, I certainly do. Right now, we think we're going to have a commercial break. Yes, we are. And then we'll be back with action from Memphis and from the Continental Wrestling area right here on Pro Wrestling Plus. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Plus. We turn our attention now to Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm sure if you watch this show, you'll agree there's always great action in Memphis. No question about that, and right now it's going to be tag team action in Memphis. We've got the Tennessee Stud, Robert Fuller, and Dirty Dutch Montel, two guys who think they can do no wrong, right? They take on David Elder and Alan Yates. Dave Brown is at ringside with his new co-host, Robert Webb, and as you will see, they don't get a chance to say much of anything.
With Robert Fuller and Dutch Mantell stepping in the ring, and they are going to be going against a couple of young guys.
And now let's get some more class out here. Let's get the Dirty White Boy. Now, you need to scoot down. We're having nothing but class. Come out here.
You can sit by, guys. I don't want to sit by.
Come on over here, Dirty White Boy. It's good to have class out here, you know.
It's a pleasure to be out here with class. You know, I've heard that there's a new owner in the CWA by the name of Robert Fuller, the Tennessee Stud. Well, you know, it's been a long time coming because of Jarrett sold this territory years ago, as everyone well knows. And Jeff Jarrett, can you believe this Jeff Jarrett kid? He's just like his old man. He's a gutless, nothing-happening individual that never was and never will be. And as far as Jerry the King Lawler, hey, I've gotten a ring when I've had busted arms, my head busted open. Hey, that never stopped me from a commitment.
That's the difference between a man like you, Dirty White Boy, and a wimp like Jerry Lawler.
Exactly. You know, I'm sitting back here looking at Dave Brown. You know, Dave, the reason I'm out here today is the Tennessee Stud's taking a good look at me for commentating, because you may be out of a job.
I've got to laugh about that.
Well, you may be out of a job, too. And as far as Calhoun's concerned, he's history, baby.
Calhoun should have been replaced a long time ago. I don't know where they got this announcer.
You want to open some more, baby?
Roger, they've got a long way to go before they take over, let me tell you.
Because they know exactly how to beat somebody up, and that's kind of like my style. I like
They are a fine-tuned machine. Look at them.
Woo! Kick him, Robert! See, I told Robert Fuller that move right there. Oh, absolutely. Look at that stomp. Turn out the lights, the party's over, baby.
Exactly right.
It's just like they say in the barber shop. Next!
Well, that's the match.
To have had you out here.
Oh, it's a pleasure being here, Mr. Gossett. And Dave, maybe we can find you a job, maybe sweeping up or something if you...
Well, what do you know? Fuller and Mantell coming through victorious there, and they didn't even have to cheat. Gosh, miracles do so happen, right? Okay, it would take all night to explain the situation in the Continental Wrestling Federation area. That's out of Birmingham, Alabama. It seems that Alan Martin has decided to call himself Kevin Dillinger, the Cowboy. That's just one little thing we want to explain. There's lots of other things. But at any rate, this guy, whoever he is, Alan Martin or Kevin Dillinger, the Cowboy, is fixing for a confrontation with the junior heavyweight title holder. That's Danny Davis. So the title is on the line. And watch out for the appearance of Kamala, the Ugandan giant.
Nauseous myself.
Well, I tell you what you can do. If you just want to leave, I can take care of this show all by myself. I've done it before.
Okay.
I'll take care of the show all by myself.
In the meantime, Mr. Kevin Dillinger, Alan Martin takes Danny Davis over, and whoa, nobody at home. No one at home on that one.
That's with experience. That's experience of being a champion. Danny Davis knew when to get out of the way. He read his opponent. He read Dillinger whether he had a mask on or not. And now he is fired up as a champion should be. Let's see what he's got inside himself now.
All right. To the side of the head of Mr. Martin. And again, it's Nightmare Danny Davis taking this match to Kevin Dillinger. Hot back body drop. Davis following up with that fist. Davis now going for his own suplex. Up high. Good. Suplex by Nightmare Danny Davis goes
Power
to the pin.
moves like that. Got him the belt. But it didn't get in the pin this time.
He powers out on the count of two. Nightmare Danny Davis taking Dillinger in. Good reversal by Dillinger, but it's Davis. Whoa, what a shot.
He's pinning the wrong
referee.
guy. He's pinning the wrong guy. I'll go in and make the count if you want. Larry Brock needs to get pinned. He shouldn't have been in the way. That's a bad referee. Bad officiating, if you ask me.
Well, certainly Danny Davis, nobody at home on that one. Danny Davis did not mean that contact to Larry Brock. Whoa, and Brock caught again.
He's disorientated. Brock doesn't know where he is in the ring half the time.
No, he doesn't.
Knocked out.
Now, there's that neck breaker. Great neck breaker, but there's no one to count.
Kevin Dillinger's out. They're both out. He's got a 5 count.
We need a...
He's got...
We need a referee.
You're out, Danny. It don't matter. You don't have a referee. You don't have a referee, pal.
He has him pinned.
It doesn't matter.
What is... Wait a minute. What is this?
I don't know.
Who is this?
I don't know. Look.
What is this in the ring?
Maybe it's a referee. Maybe it's a second referee. I don't know.
What a monster. Whoa, what a splash. And again, another splash. What is it?
It's a 3-time. I don't know, but I think it's great. I think it's great.
And who is this guy with a...
I don't know. I don't have any idea.
What is going on
I haven't seen
here?
these guys before in my life. They must have just got here. They must have just got here. The referee. There you go. Make the count. There you go.
I did not see them in the dressing. We got...
What a great referee.
Wait just a
He made
minute.
that count just in time. Great. Here
We
you go.
have a new...
There you go.
Junior heavyweight champion.
What a great match. What a well-deserved win for that man right there. He has worked long and hard. He has worked long and hard. And he has finally accomplished it. He has finally got the U.S. Junior Heavyweight Championship.
Kevin Dillinger, at least that's his new name, right? Kevin Dillinger, the Cowboy, coming through victorious there. He's the new mid-heavyweight champion in the area, the junior heavyweight they call it there. And, of course, he got some help from the headhunter, right? We saw that. Disgusting. Okay. We're going to return now to the Southern Championship Wrestling area for some tag team action. The tag team champions, that's the combination of Dino Manelli and Steve the Brawler Lawler, are in the ring against Mr. Wrestling number 2 and the Bullet. This was a match that took place outside for the sake of television taping. So have a look now as things do not go too well for Sir Samuel F. Kent.
What a great crowd here today, Tim. This has to be one of the most exciting crowds I've seen in quite a while, and everybody here to see Southern Championship Wrestling. And right now you see where the Southern Tag Team Champions are once again on the floor with their weasel where they belong. Sir Samuel F. Kent with instructions to his man Steve the Brawler Lawler as he enters the ring against the Bullet. Collar and elbow top is made, and Steve the Brawler Lawler backs up the Bullet into the ring rope. Look at the weasel there. He don't seem to appreciate the people calling him weasel, but you know when you look like a weasel and you act like a weasel and you talk like one, you must be one. Usually is a weasel. Oh, look at it. I tell you what, the Bullet and Mr. Wrestling number 2 have really got their stuff together today. These are two great veterans, and it's just good to see them in a tag battle. What an exciting match. Absolutely. Only in Southern Championship Wrestling can you find this caliber competition. And it's Dino Manelli and Steve the Brawler Lawler having a little powwow here. Well, you know, it seems like spring is coming along and summer's not far ahead. It's what tag teams is what it's all about. And Southern Championship Wrestling is bringing in some of the greatest tag teams in the country. And Georgia Power, the Nightmare myself. Oh,
Dino Manelli nails his tag team partner. Samuel F. Kent. Outside the ring is the Bullet. Now going to town on Dino Manelli.
Oh, and I believe a big closed fist there by the Bullet sends Manelli out on the floor.
And it's the Bullet. Cleaning house.
Oh, a little gesture there by the Bullet that I think he let them know exactly what he thought about them.
And on the outside of the ring right now is the Southern Tag Team Champions. And Sir Samuel F. Kent literally beside himself as Dino Manelli makes his way back into the ring against a very formal adversary in the Bullet.
Absolutely, I tell you, man. This, like I said before, you can't say enough about Mr. Wrestling 2 and the Bullet because they've been around for a long time, and these guys, Dino Manelli and Steve Lawler, are going to have to settle down, kind of slow it down a little bit there.
And the Bullet.
Oh, a couple of, and a hip toss and an arm drag by the Bullet there, and send Lawler right back out on the floor again.
Great presence of mind by the Bullet, and Sir Samuel F. Kent really beside himself as his Southern Tag Team Champions have walked into a buzzsaw, namely Mr. Wrestling number 2 and the Bullet.
Absolutely.
Here on Southern Championship Wrestling live on location here at Spalding Ford in Griffin, Georgia. The Bullet and Steve the Brawler Lawler tie up. The Bullet backed into the corner, and he's in the wrong side of town right now.
Whoa. A little double teaming going on there. A little interference from the outside. Wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute now. What's that weasel doing?
Sammy Kent making his presence known here. Sir Samuel F. Kent is known to do it time and time again. As it's now the Bullet firing back.
You can hear the chop all over the place here tonight. And these 2,000 people going crazy.
Now it's Dino Manelli entering the ring, and he's throwing the double axe handles to the back of the Bullet.
I tell you what, I felt quite a few of those, and that's a devastating blow right there. Whoa, but the Bullet
fires back with a chop. Now it's the Bullet. Backed into the ring rope, sent in for the ride. Dino Manelli. And they collapse head.
Double knockout it looked like there.
Both men being issued a warning from the referee right now. Who can make it to the ring? Make it to their feet first, and I know you were involved in a match out here early, Dirty White Boy, and the heat must be grueling.
Oh, it is. It surely is. But when these people here in the great state of Georgia get to cheering you on, you know, you can do amazing things.
Tag is made, and Steve the Brawler Lawler checked in, but here comes Mr. Wrestling number 2. Shot to the midsection.
Shot up Manelli in there. 2 catches him.
Sends his man into the ring rope.
Whoa, high backdrop. Man, oh man, what a backdrop.
Dino Manelli, we've got all 4 men in the ring now.
Action, action, action. I tell you,
Whoa!
Steve, the
Looked like
Brawler Lawless
went over the top rope there,
sending
Tim.
the bullet over the top rope. Now we've got a double teaming situation here on Mr. Wrestling number 2. Sir Samuel F. Kidd
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Wait a minute, ring that.
The referee asking for the bell, and
Hey, it's a pity that was an odd title affair, right? Otherwise, we'd have had new tag team champions in that area as Mr. Wrestling number 2 and the Bullet win that match. Okay, it is time now for a commercial break. After that, we will be back with action from Kansas, and we will have a look-see at our Mat Classic right here on Pro Wrestling Plus. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Plus as we turn our attention now to the WWA and Kansas City. The combatants in the ring, Masa Chono. He goes up against Prince Tapu, and this turns out to be quite a match.
So to say that it took Mike George by surprise and took the fans by surprise would be an understatement, but you just cannot underestimate Masa Chono. You know, I was talking to a good wrestling fan of ours, Bruce Grummer, up in Lincoln, Nebraska, who watches us weekly on the satellite from our Denver, Colorado affiliate, United Cable. And he was commenting on what an exceptional wrestler Masa Chono is. And indeed, Masa Chono has all the fundamentals he needs to be a great wrestler. You know, he's schooled in the art of martial arts as well as wrestling, and certainly a tremendous wrestling background. And I think he came in here as a little underrated and a little bit unknown, but he certainly has everyone's attention to this date. And Chono again in control of the match. I can tell you one thing, fans, it won't be long. Mike George is going to be knocking on promoter Bob Geigel's door looking for that return match. Expected any day. Mike George was a fighting champion. He knew Masa Chono would give him problems, but nevertheless, he went out, he wrestled him, and he made it one of his first priorities to give Masa Chono a match. Beautiful high drop kick from Masa Chono. Chono up with a hard slam. Tapu comes down hard on the mat. Well, Chono apparently giving the signal that he's got things well in control. Shoots Tapu in. Oh, caught him with that reverse side kick, and Chono does that so well. Tapu, enough instinct, enough left in him that he reached for the ropes to break up the count. Tapu trying to fight back. Referee Sonny Myers giving a warning to Chono to stay out of the eyes, a shortcut, and you know it's a shortcut that Chono doesn't need, but it created a little break, that 1 second that Prince Tapu needed to get back together and get this match in gear. And Tapu shooting Chono off, caught him high with the knee. And that's the way you're going to have to work on Chono, work on the midsection, knock the oxygen out of him, because he's a well-conditioned athlete. You know, I've had the opportunity many times to see Masa Chono, and he goes through a tremendous workout section prior to each match. A lot of stretching, hundreds and hundreds of Hindu squats, lots of push-ups. He's not a bodybuilder per se, but in just tremendous condition. And I'll tell you this, in order to defeat Mike George in St. Joseph, Missouri for the world title, you have to be in tremendous condition. Tapu slowing the pace down just a bit here with the rear chin lock, trying to control Masa Chono, and at the same time trying to clear his own thoughts out and get back into the match. You can be sure that Masa Chono, a thinking man, is planning down the move. What is next? What his escape will be, and what his next move will be. But right now, it's Prince Tapu in control still. The tide seems to be turning once again. Chono up. Tapu slow to rise. And Chono fires away with the chop. A second chop across the chest. Tapu down. You know, I don't want to take one thing away from Mike George. You know, when Masa Chono defeated Mike George, which we give him credit for, he did. Mike George more than had Masa Chono defeated. That match was over in more ways than one, and Chono somehow, some way, pulled out what he needed to on that night, on that occasion, and he is your new world heavyweight champion. Chono trying to take Tapu up, apparently for a pile driver. He's having trouble getting Tapu up. He's got him up. Oh! Chono with a well-delivered pile driver, the first one that I've seen him deliver since he came here. That's it. Your winner, Masa Chono. Let's go to
Massachusetts coming out the winner there, and that was quite a match, wasn't it, out of the WWA there, of course, in Kansas City. Okay, time to have a look-see now at our Mat Classic this week. Once again, we're not going too far back in time, really, as we have a look at yesteryear. However, it is the early 80s. We're going to see a World Mid-Heavyweight Championship belt match. The combatants in the ring are the challenger, Davey Boy Smith, as he goes up against the current title holder at that point in time, Dynamite Kid. Yes, yes, Virginia, it is Davey Boy Smith against the Dynamite Kid. We'll talk about that further in a moment. But right now, let's look at our Mat Classic action. Here's a bout that has the crowd buzzing. This for the World Mid-Heavyweight belt. The challenger from Leeds, England, the 220-pound Davey Boy Smith. The champion from Liverpool, the Dynamite Kid at 215 pounds. One fall, 1 hour. We've just gone past the 15-minute mark. And this has been the first relatively quiet moment in the fight. They have been flying. Tremendous speed exhibited by both Smith and the Kid. Kid with an elbow smash. Bangs in a couple of chops. Look out. Pulls him over. 1, 2, almost. Oh. It was so close, it shook Dynamite up. You could see the look of astonishment as he almost lost it right there. Excellent match. Davey Boy Smith, Dynamite Kid. Referee is Cedric Hathaway. Dynamite from Liverpool, as mentioned. Managed by J.R. Foley, who hails from Cesspool, England. Look out. Smith gets in an elbow and another one. Gonna drive him into the ropes. Watch now. Oh. Pat Smith with an elbow really rattled his cage. Referee is down. Dynamite going after Davey Boy, throws him over the top. The referee didn't see it. Referee counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's going to come in now. Whoops. Cover 1, 2, 3. He did it. Davey Boy Smith. Davey Boy Smith has won the title. There it is. Smith, the new world mid-heavyweight champion. Thomas Singh comes in to knock him down in frustration. Davey Boy Smith coming through victorious there in our Mat Classic from the early 80s. And, of course, it won't be long until these two collide once again in something called the dog fight of the decade. You know, it's an astonishing thing after reaching the heights of brilliance that those two attained as the British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith and the Dynamite Kid, that once again they should go back to what they were a few years ago, and that is bitter enemies. But there's a lot of bitterness now, and there's a lot of people looking forward to seeing the dog fight of the decade, although to some degree, they may have mixed feelings because as partners, those two are totally awesome. Okay, it's time now to take a commercial break. After that, we will be back with wrestling action out of Florida, and we'll have your letters on Fan Forum right here on Pro Wrestling Plus. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Plus. We're now going to the Sunshine State, Florida, and Florida Championship Wrestling, a four-man affair. The tag teams in the ring happen to be Lou Perez and Frankie the Thumper Lancaster, and they're going against Scotty the Body and Jim Backlund.
Scotty the Body with a high knee lift now that puts Lancaster back on one knee. And it is Scotty the Body now with a quick snap mare, taking Lancaster back to the canvas again. Scotty the Body drives down, but it was Lancaster rolling to one side. Now Lancaster rolls over, makes the tag. Lightning Lou moves in. Rookie of the year. And, brother, he's through the rule book out.
He sure is, and I'm telling you, we have four fantastically well-conditioned athletes in there right now. And a
little bit of a do-si-do there, and suddenly Lancaster and Lightning Lou Perez are beginning to take the edge on this tag team combination of Backlund and Scotty the Body. Backlund down to the canvas again, and time, good move by Lightning Lou. Single leg pickup and then a forward leg trip, and it is Lightning Lou. Well, again, all four men in the ring at the same time. Referee Mickey J trying to get some order established. Lightning Lou Perez catching Scotty the Body in sort of a rabbit punch. Time beginning to run down. There's no question about that. I'd also like to remind all of you folks we will be in Fort Ritchie on Thursday, the 22nd of this month at the Southland Roller Palace. And we will be in Bradenton on the 23rd. That's Friday the 23rd at the Municipal Auditorium. Full body slam by Perez has Scotty the Body dazed.
And right now, conditioning is a very important factor in this match. I mean, besides being able to wrestle defensively and avoid being pinned, you also have to have yourself in a good enough physical condition to be around so that you can breathe long enough to get on your feet and make the moves from the basic position. And the Body just, he amazes me. He's a big, strong, well, heavily muscled dude. And here comes Backlund back. He's been employing deep halves all night to his advantage. Throwing up the res, and it looks like I thought he might catch him in the late crucifix. He did, however, and escaped by his partner and friend, Scotty the Body.
All right, Frankie the Thumper mixing it up with Scotty the Body now. Backlund hurdles the Perez outside the ring. And so that leaves Frankie Lancaster alone in the ring against two opponents as Perez was stunned when he hit that concrete floor. Now it's Scotty the Body leaving the ring.
A nice high-crotch lift there by Lancaster and a flyover. However, Backlund came out of it. And again, it's your ability to stay around and avoid being pinned that makes a winner.
Lancaster outside the ring to the left of the ring itself. You can see them on the left-hand corner of the ring. And now it's Scotty the Body coming back to his rightful position. And it's Lancaster being attacked again by Jim Backlund. Remember, this is an Australian tag team event. And time is beginning to run out.
Well, Scotty the Body being very visual in his mannerisms to show that he's in good condition. It tests, as I said last week, the ability to make your opponent believe that you are hurt and trick you into a pinning combination. It also goes the other way. The ability to make your opponent think that you're not hurt, that you're in better shape than you really are at that present time. That holds him on the defensive and away from a possible pin.
Still, neither team able to score a pinfall or a submission hold at this time. A testament to what John was saying earlier about the fantastic conditioning of these athletes. Frankie the Thumper Lancaster moves in there once again. High backdrop by Lancaster on Scotty the Body. Those 26 movable vertebrae really take a lot of percussion. Back in the corner once again. And again, we've got some double teaming here, only this time it's Lancaster and Perez doing the double teaming. And now it's Perez caught from behind by Jim Backlund.
Backlund right now, I think, is showing the worst for wear. And being trapped in there, Scotty the Body is receiving some of the payback from the team of Lancaster and Perez. It's a little bit overdue. They took a lot of 2-on-1 shots themselves, and it's just about time. And he's got a deep half in there with a far leg pickup, but still the strength of the body brought him out of it.
Well, the bell is rung, and so the match is over. It is a draw match. A draw match. Neither Scotty the Body or Jim Backlund could take the edge on Perez or Frankie the Thumper Lancaster. So we...
Over to Calgary now, where we're going to again see the Dynamite Kid in action. However, this time it's of relatively recent vintage. You know, the Dynamite Kid has had a hard time coming back in wrestling. I recall specifically really when he got into trouble. And that was a point in time in Calgary when he injured a knee. And instead of being out of action as he should have been, according to the medics, for 2 to 3 months at least, he was back within 2 weeks. Well, he rushed too much, as it turned out, and as a result of that, put added pressure on the back. I don't know how these things happen in a body, and both the back and the knee got him into all sorts of physical difficulty. As a result, he had a very tough time maintaining his level of performance in the ring. But I think you're going to see that he's really made a comeback now as he goes into action in Calgary against a very talented Oriental, Sumo Hara.
The stick was brought